Oh, that's right.
I need to try out that link in there. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Hang out right here. I'll kind of get this off. And then, I think y'all are about the second or the third. Stuff at it. I got, I think it's Gabby. But I think, yeah, I'll say this is worth it. About just on CSU shut. And I said, no, instead of this new scoring on this, I already have real world specimens. They're special. Oh, so I won't call you those.
Oh, I thought you meant like you were
That's it, direction on how to
I have a lot of books for that day, but I feel that everything's I'll do
Oh, for the freshman. I'm sorry. Aviation 100, and they want to try to training class.
one else.
Oh, yeah, so usually like the aviation 100 is kind of like their beginning point for everything. Unless they.
That's what I had to start off with. I was wondering I should advocate for.
Right. Yeah, and I'll talk about that later in the presentation about aviation 100. It'd be good to hear from.
And I might.
Who have been in this.
You said that the Boston brought
So yes, they just came up today. So
well, I thought they were going to put it up on Monday because normally when
They
they start
usually
registration.
right.
All right, so good evening and welcome everybody. Thank you for turning aside some time to be with us tonight, and also if you're watching at home, we appreciate you being here as well. So tonight we are of course talking about ECSU, and then I'll probably snorkel around a little bit and talk about some of our programs at COA that are available to juniors and seniors, because it all kind of dovetails together. But anyway, we will go ahead and dive right in. So for the first half of the night, we'll kind of focus on just the general why ECSU, kind of do just a big flyover of all the different programs they have and why you might want to consider dual enrollment classes. And then after that, we'll kind of split off. And if you want to actually complete the application for ECSU tonight, you can do that if you brought your computer. If not, I have written out word for word directions where I promise you, if you follow them, you will get it done. So, all right. So. Got a picture of a tree here, and the reason I have that is you can think of ECSU in two branches. So one branch is kind of like their aviation branch, where they have programs in air traffic control, flight education, like you want to be a pilot one day, aviation, like electronics, drones, and the starter class for that we're going to talk about in just a minute, but I don't want to steal the thunder from some of my. We're going to have a student panel that's going to come up and tell y'all some about these classes. So anyway, so one branch is all of our aviation courses, and then the other branch is our general education classes, which consist of, like, no matter A to Z what you go to college for, you're going to have some general education courses. It consists of like English, histories, maybe some computer classes, fine arts, usually about 50 to 60 hours of general education classes. And we partner with ECSU to offer about 5 or 6 of those courses. And again, I will go over those in detail in just a little while. So our general education classes, they also transfer very seamlessly to COA for our junior year and senior year. If students decide they want to pursue an associate in arts, an associate in science, or one of the other programs at COA, they can transfer their classes from ECSU to COA. So ECSU is a 4-year college, so they don't offer an associate's degree. College, they offer being a 2-year school. A community college has the associate programs. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the nitty gritty. If you want to hit the next slide for us, Coach. So I've got 3 students here with us tonight, 3 wonderful students. So Gabby Morgan, if you want to come up, she's going to tell you about some of the classes that she took at ECSU beginning in the spring of her, freshman year.
Okay, so I'm a senior now, and in my, sophomore year, I took courses at ECSU such as general psychology. I took a computer science course, I took a college algebra course, and I took an elementary Spanish course. Those courses, they all transferred to COA, like Mr. Huey said, and they all were fairly intensive as far as the level of difficulty. They should be easier for you to handle if you're used to high school courses and things, since you're a freshman now. And one thing I would like to note is to be careful what courses you take if you're going to ECSU, because some of the courses, they'll be difficult to transfer if they're like 3 credit, and then at COA it's 4 credit. So if you talk to Mr. Yu, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to get those situated with you, but just be careful to know those different types of courses. And those courses, I took 2 of them online, and then I took 2 of them in person. The 2 online were computer science and elementary Spanish, and the other 2 were psychology and college algebra. The teachers there are very nice, so if you want to do face-to-face and that works better for you, that's the best option. But also the online courses, the teachers will also work with you well. If you need to communicate, they have emails and things, as well as you could probably contact them through Zoom meetings also. So ECSU works really well with these types of courses, so if you're looking for both best best of both worlds, as well as hybrid courses. We also have those options as well too.
All right, tell everybody what you're thinking about studying in college.
Oh, yes. So the courses that I'm taking right now will transfer over to COA, and I'll be doing an associate's in arts degree. And the courses or the career that I'm looking forward to doing is a career in accounting. So all these courses are general education, but they'll contribute to that accounting degree with that major.
Thank you, Gabby. That's fine. So next on our expert panel, Emily, if you want to come on up and you can tell about what you've done.
Okay, so I kind of had the same experience as Gabby. I did the general education courses, so I did the same four as her plus a history, and that history you can kind of do either way. A lot of them you can take either at COA or ECSU. It's just kind of like what your preference is. And all of mine were able to transfer to COA as well. And so I did 4 in person and then 1 online, and that wasn't because of COVID, it was computer science, and so it was just already online. But like Gabby said, I think you can just choose like what is best for you. Like right now, we're both doing COA all online because that's what they're offering. But I think just really whatever works for you. The professors definitely work with you, and I would just say to make sure that like you communicate and just try your best. And now I'm doing like full-time COA, so I did 5 ECSU classes and they all transferred. So now I'm like on track to getting my associate's degree by the time I graduate. And if you like follow that track, then you should be able to like get your degree on time and not have to do like summer school or like 5 or 6 classes a semester, unless you do like the Associates of Science, which might be a little bit more. But that's just kind of my experience with it. I had a really good experience at ECSU. I would definitely recommend it. My sisters are following the same track, and I think it's really beneficial because now I'm able to, do COA, and then I'll have a couple of years of my college knocked out when I go to a 4-year university next year. So, yeah.
We ask the questions.
Yes.
You get the college classes through the accounts fair with the high school too, or what?
Yes.
Like in other words, if my son's gonna take Spanish, should he take the college Spanish instead of the high school Spanish, because it'll cover both?
You'll still have to take high school Spanish, but you can take college Spanish as well to count for your degree. I think that's one of the stipulations with that.
Right. We've had a handful of students who have done. You definitely could just take the college Spanish. We recommend, our rule of thumb is to go ahead and take it here at NEAT, just because it gives them more of a foundation. So yeah, we'll talk more later. There's going to be a slide about how do the college classes, which ones can maybe count for some high school credits too. So
Right, and she was saying she took college algebra.
Yes, and that can count for your math 4. So you have to take 4 maths here at NEAT, but that can count for your math 4 as it did for me. And the same way with the American history courses, I took those at COA. You could take them also at ECSU, but if you take them at COA or ECSU, you don't have to take them here at NEAT.
Right, that's okay, that answers the question.
So I did my Spanish, like I did 2 through NEAT and then 1 through ECSU, and I had a really great experience. I actually really enjoyed my Spanish class, and I would say definitely take them at NEAT because I pretty much knew a lot already before I went into the college one, so it was like more of a breeze because I had already had like the foundation of Spanish 1 and 2.
right, yeah, and only 1 Spanish is required for the associate's degree. So you end up taking a lot of college Spanish, and we just we really would set everybody up for success by getting a strong foundation here. So.
And I'm also actually doing accounting too, just like Gabby. So yeah, that is what I plan to study next, however 3 years are.
All right, so that tells you a little bit about the general education courses. So kind of big picture for a minute, with the College of the Alma program, their associate's degree, which they were talking about, that's about 60 semester hours, which translates into about 20 classes. So the ECSU classes really give students a head start starting the degree. And we also have a lot of students who, they may not complete the full degree at COA, but they'll do what they call the pathway, which is about half of a degree, about 30 semester hours, and that's great too. So we always preach kind of like quality over quantity, so we want to be making, you know, A's and B's, and, yeah, so, all right, so that's a little bit about the general education, and then,
Oh, sorry. One last thing to note is that I would recommend to take as many ECSU courses as you can because it gets really stressful. And at COA, you have to take like 6 courses in one semester. So I would really recommend you do that because I didn't take advantage of that, and then I had to take 6 courses for one semester and 5 for another semester. So yeah.
definitely.
Session was easier.
ECSU and COA, they're fairly similar, but I think ECSU, if you want a lot of that community type of feeling, it gives you that. COA has a lot more separate classrooms, I would say. ECSU has a lot bigger classrooms as far as campus-wide university.
So now we're gonna kind of switch gears and learn all about the aviation program. I mentioned earlier that, that they have programs in like, Logan, you can come on. In aviation, like actually learning how to fly a plane, UAS or unmanned aerial systems, aka drones, ATC, which is air traffic control, and then avionics, so the electrical aspect of flying a plane or working on a plane. So they have all those programs, and we have, let's see, at least a handful of neat graduates who have gone on in to finish up that program or are currently finishing it. And Logan, he's just really dived in deep to this program, and he's taken a bunch of their classes. He's taken the one that is available to ninth graders, which is kind of the starting off point for anybody interested in aviation. That's Aviation 100. So I'm going to get out of the way, but Logan can tell you all about aviation.
Mark, hey, my name is Logan Weeks. I'm a junior here. I'm doing a flight education program at ECSU. I think it's a great program. I've enjoyed it a lot. It has been great to me. The professors are great from my experience. They work really well. I started off with Aviation 100, like many of y'all who decided to do that will. That class is taught by Professor Stone, and he is a great professor. He teaches like probably 10 to 15 of the classes there. He's amazing. He'll work with you do pretty much anything, and he's got a good sense of humor. He will teach us a great professor, and I've had that experience with all the professors there. I've also taken basic aerodynamics there. That was pretty easy work to do. The professor, I forgot what his name was, I'm being honest with you, and I don't know if I'll be able to pronounce his name. But he was also really great to work with you. It was asynchronous online. A lot of the courses are. I've also taken human factors and safety. You learn about everything about human error in an aircraft. We're not robots. It basically goes over that and how this, even though it may be the pilot's fault or someone else in the staff's fault, there's a lot to account for. There's that. I also have taken aircraft systems. Well, I'm taking aircraft systems right now. You learn a little bit about the engine of the aircraft and how it all works. So, I mean, you know what your aircraft's doing when you're pulling levers and switches and whatnot. You don't learn too much. You're not a mechanic. I'm taking this class, but you learn a little bit about what's going on. Legislation and ethics. That class, that professor was also great. They work with you for pretty much anything. They're not going to waste your time. They're going to teach you what you need to know, and if you're done, you're done. He's not going to keep you there and waste your time, which I really appreciated. I also have currently starting on the flight portion of it. I have right now flight ground and flight lab. Flight lab isn't covered by me, but if you decide to go that route, it is the ECSU program for getting a commercial pilot's license is a fourth of the price of ATP flight school, one of the more popular ones right now. So I would 100% advocate for that. I'm also like the flight instructors are great. Everybody I've interacted with at ECSU has worked with me pretty well. But yeah, is there any questions?
So it sounds like 10 years from now, where do you want to see yourself? Yeah, not 10 years down the road.
All right. I hopefully will be graduating with my 4-year degree when I graduate from high school. not maybe a year after, with a commercial pilot's license, multi-engine rating, and instrument rating. I will either go on to become a certified flight instructor and work for ECSU, or I'll do crop dusting, which either one sounds like fun to me. So, I'll use that to build up some hours, and then I'll go on to work for one of the major airlines, hopefully, and just depending on which one offers me the best opportunity. But yeah, I mean, they set you up straight for a career. There's even a program called Aviate right now. There's currently working on, and it's a direct pathway to United Airlines from ECSU, and you'll work with their instructors, and they offer scholarships and all that through that program. I don't know too much about it because I'm not old enough to even be a part of it, but you have to be 18, and if you are able to, you can get, like I said, scholarships and have a direct career pathway to be a co-pilot in United Airlines. So.
Does everyone who does that pathway, do they want to be pilots? Or some people engineers, want to do aviation engineering instead, or?
I'm not too sure. I think the Aviate program is specifically for pilots, but ECSU does have a lot of, does have a bunch of other programs for aviation, for avionics, I believe aviation management, and it's just several others.
Yeah, they take a core curriculum with it, a lot of the same courses, but then they do kind of specialize. I know they have some engineering classes as well.
So you're trying to finish 4 years before you go to high school?
Yes, sir.
Are you taking classes online as well?
Yeah, so right now I'm at COA and ECSU. I'm doing a lot of my general ed through COA, and my 4 classes through ECSU because there's a credit hour cap, so I have to kind of move back and forth, but.
Right. So is this still a road to go for COA and ECSU too?
So we're going to cover a little bit about COA tonight. You do have to be a junior or senior for the COA, so Logan's the junior. So he was taking ECSU for spring of his 9th grade year and then 10th grade year. Then he started also taking more of his general education classes at COA.
I see. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
So you started the college classes in the 9th grade?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, spring semester with the 9th grade is when they start doing the ECSU courses, and that's, like I said, you can start taking Aviation 100, which is an aviation history course, and then from there you can decide whether that's your interest or not.
What grade are you in now?
11.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's give our panel.
Coach Huey, we have one question from the Zoom meeting. Is it possible to take photography at ECSU as an elective?
We currently don't have that in our agreement with them, so.
Okay.
So Logan's kind of like half human, half robot. I don't know, like after a first semester in your spring semester in 9th grade, you can only do one college class, but after that, kind of open up the gate if the student is ready and willing and able to put in the time and effort and energy to get more than 4 or 5 classes. And so when he told me what he wanted to do and try to earn as much as this degree possible in high school, I was like, oh man, that is a lot. So we arm wrestled about it for a while. And anyway, he beat me, so I let him try it, and then he's done really well. So all right, so like I was saying, let me cover one thing. Just when we're talking about the aviation classes, those classes are very specific to the aviation degree. So if your goal is to earn Associates of Arts or Science at COA, the associate degree classes and the aviation classes, they don't really mesh together. The Aviation 100 and the ones that you be able to take in 9th grade would not transfer to COA towards the associate's degree. But all this is kind of like it's an official transcript from COA. So all these, that TR right there, of course, that is for transfer. So these are 5 classes. These are some of the ones that Gabby and Emily talked about. So the ones at ECSU, for example, for this Psych 150, that's the COA course, but at ECSU it's called Psychology 212. So they took a year and then it transferred seamlessly to COA, and then same with the other So just wanted to kind of show you in real world print how what we do here, how it transfers out to the community college. So, all right, so we can click on the along. All right, so kind of looking at the big picture in terms of how it impacts your class rank, your GPA, and also just the availability of taking more classes. Like for example, somebody was asking about photography, which they don't have that one currently, but it really does. By the time you graduate high school, just exposes you to a lot of opportunities you can have to take classes outside of the normal availability of traditional high school courses. So here at Need, for any class like this, like a regular class, like a PE class or something that's not an honors class, it gets 4 points. For an honors class, like so like the earth science, English 1, on taking that, English 2. All of our core classes that the state will allow to be honors, we teach as honors, and those get 4.5 weighted points, and then the college points, since they require a little bit more, sometimes a lot more work, they receive 5 weighted points. So why does that matter to colleges? It's just kind of a quick index of showing them the rigor that you took. Because the way we figure class rank is by cumulative weighted GPA. So if you take a college class and you get an A in that course, you're going to get 5 weighted points. So it's, with the transcripts GPA, it's kind of simple math. You add up all your GPA points and you divide it by how many classes that you've taken, and then that gives you your GPA. So if you come to any college admissions from here to California, they're going to tell you, they're going 3 things. A, making good grades, of course. B, challenging yourself, which they usually call rigor, and of course, thirdly, being involved in like meaningful outside of school and co-curricular activities, that kind of thing. But yes, definitely the colleges, if you can prove to the colleges that you're interested in, that you already know how to do college work as a high school student, then that will definitely give you some points. So, and of course, save you some money. So NEAT pays for everything. We'll get you to the class if it's during the regular school day, which if a student drives or a parent can take them, they can't take classes outside of the traditional 8:15 to 3:15 school day. Let's see what we say. I think that'll cover it for that slide. You want to click on to.
So a question is just a clarification that you can take some of the college dual enrollment classes, but you don't necessarily have to pursue an associate's degree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can take, just like I said a second ago, with quality over quantity. Yeah, you could take, your 9th grade year, or if you're currently a sophomore or junior, senior, you could even still apply to take courses, and you may have a student who wants to try out a lot of different things. I'm a big fan and advocate of just encouraging students to explore all their options. And some students they may do aviation classes, and then they may say, I really want to try something else, and or they just are super involved with neat classes like robotics and just all the different programs that we have here. So you definitely do not have to say, I'm going to earn that degree. So that's a good question too. So with the eligibility requirements, we definitely want to set you up for success, and our motto is kind of to it and through it. We don't want to put you in anything that you are not comfortable with, academically prepared for. We want you to be successful, and we want for your first college experience to be a great one. So we look for general indicators, kind of AB average, and then with 9th grades, we'll look at the first 9 weeks report card. So definitely the whole motivation factor and being able to work independently are things we want to look at. And see, students are not eligible, do not want to take an ECSU class next semester. They can always take, wait till next year. So it may just be like 9th grade. I just want it to be 9th grade. I don't want to take college classes yet. Even if you apply now but change your mind, we can roll over that application until next fall. So I don't want you to feel like if you're still kind of like, yeah, maybe kind of not really, you can't wait until next year. This is not a one-time, you miss the boat if you don't do it right now. Like Gabby shared earlier, definitely for getting the jump start on the associates. It makes it easier but, it's not, I've had a student come in before who chose not to do the ECSU enrollment, and, she is about to finish her associate's degree too. She did a couple of summer school classes, which we also partner with COA for summer session classes, so it's not the only way to earn the degree, so, all right. Get that next slide. All right, so important needs to know, so, as far as the academic calendar, that's already available online, and we'll share out this presentation later, and you can click on it right there, and it shows you all the dates that they are in class for spring semester. And certainly for any kind of face-to-face class, we will, like I was saying earlier, we will make sure we can get you there, and then the tuition, the books, we pay for all that as well. That was the thought that jumped in our brain earlier. Yeah, we cover the tuition, we cover the books, all this little, parents who gone to college, if you get the bill and you say, okay, here's my tuition, but then there's all these other little charges, like what in the world is all that? So when you saw it's gonna be a $200 class and all this, $200 class, the next thing you know, it's $600, we cover all these little hidden fees as well. So that part is taken care of.
Yeah, as far as, we gotta take them we gotta take them there, right?
Not if it's during the school day. Yeah.
Okay, so school day, yeah.
Right, yeah, we kind of Disney World transportation, we have buses going back and forth to get to the regional bus stop, to COA, and then, to ECSU, so yes, it's about, it's about 8 buses now, but we will get our kids there. All right, so once you apply, if you decide you want to apply and then pick out a class, we would figure out the best place to work that into your NEET schedule. So, because once you're registered for ECSU class, we'll drop a NEET elective course from your schedule. So you'll still be taking 4 classes as a 9th grade student. If you're a sophomore or junior, you can take your current classes, like your NEET classes, and still add on one more. But so yeah, we can keep on rolling. All right, so that should say spring 22. Sorry about that, but some of the classes, this isn't an exhaustive list of the schedule for spring. It actually just came out just a little bit ago, so I just started looking at it. So Logan, he talked about the Aviation 100 course. That is kind of your starting point for all things aviation. It's history, terminology. It's kind of what they call a prerequisite for other classes. So students, if you're not familiar with that word, you got to take this before you can take the next one. So that's Aviation 100, and now if you're interested in that, does that transfer to the associate's degree? Anybody remember from earlier that one does not transfer towards the associate's degree? It's okay. You don't have to make every single class say, right? We just like to blatantly say that, that currently the aviation classes do not transfer to the associate's degree. All right, this is probably our most popular class especially for first-time 9th graders. These next two, Introduction to Psychology, of course, a general education course that just about everybody takes. They have face-to-face section, then they have online offerings of that one. All right, and then the American History, which this will count for an American History credit as well. So that one is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 10:50. So when we work out your schedule, we would take off the first period NEET class, and you get your books at lunch, and then that's what you take. So, all right, yeah. So this video we made last year, but I've gone through and I've done the application process this year. It's still exactly the same. This is kind of a quick flyover of the handout that I have. But yeah, that right there of everything that is on that handout. So get myself out of the way.
What's CFNC stand for?
College Foundation in North Carolina.
Okay.
So it's kind of the centralized application portal for all colleges, agencies, everywhere in North Carolina. So maybe watching this video. If not, we will. Like I say, all the directions are right there too. But I like the visual.
This video will show you how to access the ECSU application on cfnc.org. When you go to cfnc.org, this is the front web page after you log in. You'll go to the top to apply to college. Scroll down, and then on the right, there's the yellow-orange Application Hub button. You'll click on that. Then to start an application on the right, you'll go to Start an Application. Type in Elizabeth City State, and select the undergraduate application, and apply. This is the application that needs to be filled out. This is the application for all students, not just our NEET high school students. So a lot of the information on this page may not be as relevant to you right now. Hit next, and you go to the next page of the application. On the left column here are all the items that need to be completed. Once a section is completed, there's a check mark. If the section is not complete or you missed an item, it will still have this open circle. So if you're missing something, you need to make sure you look and go back and fill everything in that's required. For the ECSU application for our 9th grade students this year, they will select Spring 2021 and Special Student. That's how ECSU knows you are a NEET student. Your major is going to be Special, and you do not need any financial aid information at this time. NEET will cover the cost of the ECSU course. You need to fill out all of your information, your address, telephone number, your permanent address. We'll ask then personal information. You do not need to fill in your social security number or NC student number. And for the question about North Carolina residency, you need to select yes here, but you do not need an RCN number. NEET students that are in high school while taking an ECSU class do not need to show an RCN number, but you do still need to select yes for this question. For high school information, you'll select, you'll type in Northeast Academy here and select our school. And we are a public school. The date of attendance will be for high school, so you can put August 2020 until right now, October 2020. The graduation date for current 9th grade students is going to be June of 2024. Students did not have any other ECSU or other college classes, so here the answers will be no. When you're done with the application, you sign that everything you are completing is accurate and truthful. You'll finish the application. Once you've cleared all of these items, you can hit I have a fee waiver and submit your application. You do not have to pay for your application to ECSU as a NEET high school student. That completes the application process. The last step that you need to do is request a transcript. So you'll go back to apply to college, the application hub tab, and then just below where you started an application is the request a high school transcript. So you need to make sure that your information up here is filled out. This, you do need your North Carolina student number or your lunch number here. Once that personal information is updated, you can select the school, search the campus, and request the transcript. We will also send your transcript to ECSU directly to our contact and admissions, but it doesn't hurt to also fill it out here on this page. Once you apply, please let your school counselor know that you did apply so we can follow up with ECSU and make sure that they have everything on their end. You will again need to also keep checking your emails for information from ECSU. When you do get accepted, you should receive a letter in the mail as well as an email that will then have your ECSU student number. Your student number will be needed in order to register you for your class.
All right, Dan, so one correction on that, you know, 9th grade for y'all would be class of 2025, which will still be here before you know it. So with that application, the key takeaways there are make sure that you put your enrollment status as special. So that's the way that ECSU identifies you as a NEET student. So y'all are a special student. You will put that for your, it's under the enrollment information page. and then it'll ask you about the financial aid, and you do not need to apply for financial aid because you do not need to pay for this course. And then we've actually learned one hack since we made that video. If on the personal information, if you'll go ahead, students, and enter your student number on the on that, when you get to the end of the transcript, it'll say click this happy box right here to go ahead and send your transcript. But the biggest thing is just once you submit it, let me know. Coach Doran, she will be back around Thanksgiving, but for now, just let me know. That way I can communicate with the admission, and I send a personal email every time. We have a great relationship with admissions. They process our applications really quickly. They are absolutely amazing to work with. I send the transcript, and then let's see. I think some of these other last minute details about looks like I might be winging it here. I can wing it if the technology goes out on us. But anyway, make sure the last thing with the fee waiver. Let's see, it's about the next to last page. It'll ask for about $35 or click fee waiver. Click the fee waiver. I promise you it'll go through, and then it'll bring up a page that it looks like you have to sign to and mail it in, but you don't. You don't have to mail in anything at all. You just let me know when you apply, and then let's see. Can we go ahead and go to the next slide, please? Well, I think I made a picture of this one too. All right. So as soon as you apply, you will still get you'll start getting emails from them. So one in here, you will get a whole bunch of emails. I mean, a lot of auto-generated emails saying complete your RDS, complete your RDS, complete your RDS residency determination services, and give us your RCN number. Since y'all are with us, y'all do not have to do that. When you're a senior and we're talking in the senior meeting and your plans to go off to college, then we do. We have to fill all that out. But for now, you do not have to complete it. Counselor Pinky promised you on that one, you are good to go. And then secondly, they will send you an email, usually within about 2 weeks of applying, that says check the admission portal to find your admission decision. So you'll click on that, and then they'll say, it'll be a little box to the right that says click here to see your acceptance letter, something to that extent. And on that number will be your magic number, your 970 number, also known as your banner ID. And that is the number that we need to register you. So as soon as you get that number, you need to come find me. You need to email me. Come and hunt me down. I'm usually holding the door in the mornings there, so you can come on in and say, Coach you, I got my banner ID number. Because once we have that, we can get you all signed up for your classes. So, all right, moving on along. We're almost done, y'all. So I apologize that some of this is a little bit dry, but it's just a little bit we got to do here. All right. Okay. So I'm not going to go in depth about this one tonight right here with the banner accounts, but long story short, of course we use Canvas here. ECSU, they use Blackboard. Some of you are already familiar with that. So that'll be your learning management system for the course. They also use a service called Banner, which that'll have your schedule in it and all that. In January, if you decide you want to take a class, we will have a one-on-one or small group meeting and orientation. So just like I said earlier, to it and through it, we're not going to say, okay, all right, you're signed up for your class now, so good luck. No. We will help you get your ECSU account set up. We'll make sure you know where you're going. We will make sure you know what to do if there's a problem. So we're just big fans of constant communications. So the only thing you have to worry about now is applying and then letting me know when you get that, your banner ID back. So, all right, we can keep on. Good. All right, and yeah, we can keep on going. Yeah, just what I said a minute ago, you use the Blackboard. Everything that you'll use as an ECSU student will be available at ecsu.edu. We'll get an ECSU email, which we will help you with that as well. You will have to take email from your professor. Sorry, ECSU professors. All right, and so before we do the feedback, I just want to take just a minute to answer questions. So do let me say this real quick. So 9th grade, 10th grade ECSU, and then 11th and 12th grade, that's when students become eligible for college in the Albemarle. And that is our partnership with ECSU, that's a local partnership, but with the community colleges, that is a statewide program called College and Career Promise, where you need at least a 2.8 unweighted GPA, and next year, probably about January, when y'all have 10th graders, we will have, a little bit over a year, half from now, when most of y'all are 10th graders, we will have COA come out. They will tell you everything about their programs. They have a lot of college transfer programs. They also have a lot of what we call CTE programs, everything from welding to HVAC, culinary to some medical things. They have a lot. And they continue to grow. They now have an agriculture program. They have elementary education, teacher prep education. Their programs are rapidly growing and going. So, all right, any questions either from our at-home audience or anybody who's here? Yes.
So for the 9th grade, is it just those 3 classes that they're able to choose from?
So those are our most popular 3. Like I said, the schedule, it just came out like literally just a couple hours ago, so I'm gonna look and see. So we've had a few other 9th graders do like sociology or some of the other like fine arts or social science kind of classes. We do make sure, like Gabby was talking about this, making sure that we've been doing this for a while now, so we know exactly like the transfer, the semester hours. So for classes, like some of the, for example, like ECSU, the arts classes are 2 hours, and then it's required for 3 hours to get for the associate's degree. Also for a class to count as a high school credit, it has to be at least like 3 semester hours. That's a state law right there. So some of the 2-hour classes we used to do, but we don't want to take the class and then not be able to count for your high school transcript. So there will be a few more. So yes, good. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be diving deep into the list of classes. Yes.
You have to be vaccinated for the classes on campus?
So what you have to do currently, and of course it's subject to change, if it's an online class, of course, you wouldn't have to be, if it's a face-to-face class, you have to be tested weekly, which we can do here at school. That's where we stand on that. So good questions. Any other? Don't be shy. Ask anything that you're thinking about. I promise if you're thinking of somebody else is probably thinking it as well. Yes. So yes, you can just put an 08 to 2021. So yeah.
And then to like for actual graduation date from high school, or is that this month?
Yeah, you can go ahead and put your graduation date for Yeah, the biggies are good at saying that you are a special student, making sure you don't check that you need financial aid, and then if you don't mind, go ahead when you get to the screen about the student number. Yeah, go ahead and enter that. That way, when you get to the end, you'll be able to check that box to say, go ahead and send your transcript on. Yep. And so what we're going to do now is kind of transition a little bit. So if you don't mind leaving us feedback, I promise you we do read it, and it is a ton to cover about dual enrollment programs and every little dot and tittle about it. So when we meet one-on-one to pick out your classes based on your plans, you know what your goals are. We'll talk more in depth about your specific plan, because definitely we have a lot of students here. Like a student last year who graduated with an HVAC degree, Logan who's working on his aviation degree, a lot of individualized situations, and being a smaller school, we can do those things. So we're not just like a cookie cutter, you're this track or that track. We have we're very personalized with our plans here. So yes, if you'll take a minute to fill out that feedback form that Coach Walton, is that what you're passing out?
Yes. Or you can do it virtually. Yeah.
And then these directions that I have printed out. If you, I had a student, I asked a student to give for me, and then she didn't run into any problems at all. So if you want to fill this out tonight, where I can run around and help you, I'll be glad to.
There's front and back of the form.
Or if you want to take it home, and I'll be glad also to meet with students one-on-one. And if I can just underscore also, we will have an in-depth orientation in January should you choose to take a class. I promise you, we will not feed anybody to the wolves. We really provide close attention, and then as we know the student's comfortable in the class and communicating with the professor and knows where to go and what to do, then we taper off a little bit, and we will email out to parents how to check the grades and the blackboards. Thank y'all for coming tonight. Like I say, stick around as long as you want to fill out the application. And remember, you're gonna email me at philhuey@northeastacademy.org as soon as you complete it, so I can follow up with admissions.
How are you?